Myself, Ketan M. Patel from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari, Electrical Engineering Department. Our subject name is Economics for Engineers. Second year, fourth semester. First chapter is Economic Decision Making. Okay. First is economics decision making, second is engineering cost, and third one is estimation. Now, first is economic decision making. What's economics? Economics is a social science that studies how individuals, governments, firms, and nations make choices and allocating limited resources to satisfy their unlimited wants. In engineering, economics is a field that addresses the dynamic environment of economic calculations and principles through the prism of engineering. It is the fundamental skill that all successful engineering firms employ in order to remain competitive advantages and market share. The subject advertises to provide them with the tools to optimize profits, minimize cost, analyze various scenarios, forecast fluctuations and business cycle, and more. In chapter number 1, the overview and role of economics decision making is very important. Now, economics. Economics is the science that deals with the production and consumption of goods and service, and the distribution and re-entering of the human welfare. The following are the economics goals. First is a high level of employment. Second is price stability. Third one is efficiency. Fourth one is an equitable distribution of income and growth. Some of the above goals are interdependent. The economic goals are not always complementary. In many cases, they are in conflict. For example, any move to have a significant reductions in unemployment will lead to an increase in inflation. Now, flow in economy. The flow of goods, service, resources and money payments in a simple economy. Households and business are the two major entities in a simple economy. Business organizations use various economic resources like land, labor and capital, which are provided by households to produce consumer goods and services, which will be used by them. Business organizations make payment of money to the households for receiving various resources. The households in turn make payment of money to business organizations for receiving consumer goods and services. The cycle shows the interdependence between two major entities in a simple economy. The shape of the supply curve is affected by the following factors. First one is cost of the inputs, technology, weather, and price of related goods. If the cost of inputs increase, then naturally the cost of the product will go up. In such situation, at the prevailing price of the product, the profit margin per unit will be less. The producer will then reduce the production quantity, which in turn will affect the supply of the product. For instance, if the price of fertilizers and cost of labor are increased significantly in agriculture, the profit margin per bag of paddy will be reduced. So the farmers will reduce the area of cultivation and hence the quality of the supply of paddy will be reduced and the prevailing price of the paddy. If there is an advancement in the technology used in the manufacture of the product in the long run, there will be a reduction in the production cost per unit. This will enable the manufacturer to have a greater profit margin per unit at the prevailing price of the product. Hence, the producer will be tempted to supply more quantity to the market. Weather also has a direct bearing on the supply of the products. For example, demand for woolen products will increase during winter. This means the price of woolen goods will be increased in winter. So naturally, manufacturers will supply more volume of woolen goods during winter. Again, take the case of television sets. If the price of TV sets lowered significantly, then its demand would naturally go up. As a result, the demand for associated products like VCDs would also go up over a period of time. This will lead to an increase the price of VCDs, which would result in more supply of VCDs. Okay. Now, engineering cost. Following are the cost revenues other than the cost which are presented in the previous sections. First of all, the basic details of cost, like a cost can be broadly classified into variable cost and overhead cost. Variable cost varies with the volume of production, while overhead cost is fixed irrespective of the production volume. Now, variable cost. Variable cost can be further classified into direct material cost, direct labor cost, and direct expenses. The overhead cost can be classified into factory overhead, administrative overhead, selling overhead, and distributed overhead. Direct material cost are those costs of materials that are used to produce the product. Direct labor cost is the most amount of wages paid to the direct labor involved in the production activities. Direct expenses are those expenses that vary in relation to the product's value, other than the direct materials cost and direct labor cost. Overhead cost is aggregate to indirect material cost, indirect labor cost, and indirect expenses. Administration's overhead includes all the costs that are incurred in administrating to business. Selling overhead is the total expense that is incurred in the professional activities and the expenses relating to the sales force. Distribution overhead is the total cost of shipping the items from the factory side to the customer side. Now, first is we see for fixed cost, variable cost. Now, marginal cost. The benefit of the mass production can be seen in marginal cost. When a product is manufactured by in a company, the cost of producing that product for a given volume, like a V1 units, be X1, and that for producing the same product for V1 plus 1 units, be X2. The difference between X2 and X1 is the cost of production of the additional unit with reference to the production volume X1, which is known as marginal cost of production of X1 plus first unit of the product. So the cost of producing X unit of a product is known as the marginal cost of production that unit. Let the cost of producing 20 units of product be 10,000 and the cost of producing 21 units of the same product be 10,045. Then the marginal cost of producing the 21st unit is 45. Okay, now average cost. The average cost is the average obtained by dividing the total cost of producing a given volume of product by the volume of production of the product. This is the average cost of product per unit. Next, sunk cost. Sunk cost is the past cost of an equipment or asset. Let us assume that an equipment has been purchased for 1 lakh about 3 years back. If we decide to replace it, then its present value is not 1 lakh. Instead, its present market value should be taken as the present value of the equipment for further analysis. So, the purchase value of the equipment in the past is known as its sunk cost. The sunk cost should not be considered for any analysis done from now onwards. Now, opportunity cost. In practice, if an alternative is selected from a set of competing alternatives X out Y, then the corresponding investment in the selected alternative is not available for any other purpose. If the same money is invested in some other alternatives, it will fetch some return. Since the money is invested in the selected alternatives, one has to pursue the return from the other alternative. The amount that is foregone by not investing in the other alternative is known as opportunity cost of the selected alternatives. Therefore, the opportunity cost of an alternative is the return that will be foregone by not investing same money in another alternative. Consider that a person has invested a sum of 50,000 in shares. Let the expected annual return by the alternative be 4,500. The same amount is invested in real estate. A return of 10% is expected, and the corresponding total return per year for the investment in the real estate is 5,000. This return is greater than the return from shares. The foregone excess is return of 500 by way of not investing in the real estate. This is the opportunity cost of investing in shares. Next is recurring cost. Recurring costs are those costs which are incurred for goods and services used in a business during a financial year. The occurrence of this type of cost will be repeated periodically. Some example of this type of cost. First is monthly salary amount of employee in an organization, rent paid for the building, electricity bill of the company, travel expenses of marketing executives, annual maintenance cost of machinery and buildings, and regular provision for employees' welfare measures. This type of cost will be fixed in the nature in short run, but it varies in the long run. For example, the rent of building, maintenance cost of machinery, etc. Okay. Now, next is non-recurring cost. The costs which are incurred one time in a business are called non-recurring cost. The same type of non-recurring cost may be incurred in the business, but the time interval between such occurrence will not be equal. In the case of investment and equipment, there will be a huge outlay at the time of installing the plant. Similar investment will take place in the future whenever some advanced machinery is installed. The part of competitions by way of producing quality products. This is not a recurring phenomenon. Some examples of such cost are: first is initially outlay of company, which is the total cost involved set of factory. Second is cost involved in the expansion of a business at a point in time. Next is cost of modernizations of plant and cost of on employee welfare measures on some special occasion of the organization, such as silver jubilee or golden jubilee celebration. Now, next is incremental cost. The incremental cost is the cost of increasing the production volume by 1 unit. The total cost consists of fixed cost and variable cost. So, the cost of producing 1 unit extra will be equal to the average cost per unit. The incremental cost includes all variable costs. This means that added cost would be absent. If an additional unit is not produced, this cost is very useful for economy analysis, such as the determination of production, volume of product, beyond which the production will not be efficient or economical. Okay, now, next is cash cost. Cash costs are the costs which are paid by the business while using cash or check, but not credit. In cash accounting basis, it categorizes costs as they are paid in cash and posted in general ledger at the point of sale. The cost paid by using credit will not be recorded in the general ledger of the company until the actual cash is paid. Because of the limitations, companies have moved to accrual method. Next is book cost. In any business, there are purchasers of equipment and other facilities. The total money spent in buying that equipment and other facilities is called book cost. The current market value of the equipment and facilities is normally compared with the book cost. It is the sum of all purchases divided by investments. As an example, take a person holding 100 shares, whole purchaser cost is 10 rupees per share. Then the total purchase cost of this 100 shares is 1000. So the book cost of the person is 1000. In future, if he sells 25 shares, the book cost will be deducted by 25% of the original book cost, because these 25 shares from 25% of the total holding. Hence, the current book cost after selling 25 shares will be 750 rupees. If he buys 10 shares at 50 rupees per share, the purchase cost of these 10 shares is 500 rupees. So the current book cost is 1250 rupees. Okay, 750 plus 500. Okay, now life cycle cost. During the life cycle of any product or services, there will be economic cost such as raw material cost, procurement of components and sub-assemblies, productions and assembly of component and sub-assemblies, uses, maintenance and waste management. The sum of this economic cost is called life cycle cost. While evaluating product alternatives based on the design departures to satisfy a specified performance, the life cycle may be used. This cost can also be used in any capital investment decision involving high initial cost with reduced future cost. As already stated, that the life cycle cost consists of initial cost and operation and maintenance cost, product development cost, facility design cost, initial investment, established factory or facilities from the initial cost. The components of operations and maintenance include labor cost, raw material cost, energy cost, and spares and maintenance cost. Okay. Now, estimations. Cost estimating models. In a manufacturing or service organization, estimating the cost of product service require utmost accuracy so that deviations between the actual cost and the estimated cost is minimal. The exercise is more of an art than a science. It requires a lot of experience on the part of estimator and assisted by reliable sources of cost data about raw materials, labor, equipment, and overheads. If the estimator overestimates the cost, then the cost per unit will be very high at the time of estimation, which will be called for more financial resources. Otherwise, it will lead to shortage of fund while carrying out the conversion activities or providing services, which may result in more cost of capital. Cost estimation should therefore be done with precision. So, type of cost is very different type of classification. First is the approximate estimate, plinth area estimate, cubic content estimate, annual repair estimate, and special repair estimate, and revised estimate. Okay. The cost estimate model are classified into following categories. First is per unit model. Second is segmenting model, cost indexes, power sizing model, and learning curve model. Now, first is per unit model. The per unit model of cost estimations estimates the cost of producing and selling one unit. The estimate of total cost for a given volume of production is computed by multiplying the estimated cost or unit with the volume of production or services. This method does not consider the benefits of scale of production. Okay. Now, segmental model. The segmented model of cost estimation splits the task of the product or service into different segments. Then the cost of each segment is to be estimated, and finally the cost of the product is obtained by summing the cost of all the segments of the product or services. As an example, if we consider the cost of two-wheeler or motorcycle or scooter, its different subsystems or segments are engine, frame, electrical systems, brake systems, sound system, silencer, transmission system, fuel supply system, etc. Under this system, the estimator should estimate the cost of each of the segments, and some such costs are to arrive at the total cost of the two-wheeler. Okay, now cost index. The prices of commodities increases or decreases over a period of time. So both options are possible. Most of the time the price increases. Such changes can be used to estimate the cost of the product based on the cost of the product in the past, and consumer price index CPI. CPI means consumer price index. As an example, let the estimated cost of product at a particular point in time capital T1, okay, in the past P capital P1, and let the corresponding cost index value be C1. Let the cost index value at current point in time T2 be C2. Let the cost of the product at current point in time T2 be P2. The formula compute P2 is like this: P2 equal to cost of the product at time T1 into equal bracket cost index at time T2 divided by cost index time T1. Okay, so P1 into C2 by C1. This method helps the estimator to avoid repeating the detailed estimate as done at time T1, but it will carry some error. Now fourth one is power sizing model. In power size model, the cost of the product or services of a particular size may not be in a direct proportion to that of the comparable product, but definitely there will be reduction in total cost when the size of the product or services increases in relation to that of the comparable product. Let the 10 HP engine be product X1 and its cost be P1, and let the 20 HP engine be product X2 and its cost be P2. The cost of the product X2 can be determined using the following formula, like here: cost of X2 equal to cost of X1 into size of X2 divided by size of X1 raised to K, where cost of X2 is cost of 20 HP engine, cost of X1 is equal to cost of 10 HP engine, and size of X1 is a 10 HP and size of X2 is a 20 HP, and K is a exponent which indicates the economy of scale. If K equal to 1, there is no economy of scale, and if K greater than 1, it represented the scale of this economy. Let the cost of X1 be 20,000 and the scale of economy K be 0.8. Hence the cost of X2 equal to 20,000 into 20 by 10 whole raised to 0.8. So answer is 34,822 rupees. The size of the product may be physical size of the product or capacity of the product or any other comparable unit. Now fifth is improving and learning curve model. The learning curve model depends on the effect on the learning curve. If a task is repeated by an operator over a period of time, then the time taken to complete nth unit will be less than that of the first unit of the test task. Using the concept, the time taken to produce the nth unit of task product may be estimated. Then based on the estimated times of the units from 1 to n units, you can obtain the total time for carrying out n units of the product or task. If nth is the number of units produced initially, time required to complete 2n units will be fixed percent of the time required to produce n units for all positive value of n. The formula of complete the time completing n units is given by the time completing n units Tn equal to T1 into n raised to k, where n is a number of units to be produced. T1 is time to complete 1 unit, and Tn is time to complete n units. And K is the learning curve exponent which is given by the formula. Okay. So K is equal to log of learning curve by rate divided by log of 2.0. Okay. So these are the important points for estimating models. Okay. Thank you.